Welcome. This learning series module will review the Tier 2 fidelity and evaluation process. In this module, we will understand how to use the Tier 2 Tiered Fidelity Inventory, or TFI, for annual Tier 2 evaluation. We will also examine a sample Tier 2 evaluation process. Referring back to our Tier 2 TFI roadmap, in this module, we will look at features 2.12 and 2.13, fidelity data and annual evaluation. Feature 2.12 reads that the Tier 2 team has a protocol for ongoing review of fidelity for each Tier 2 practice. Take a moment to read the corresponding scoring rubric. Feature 2.13 reads that, at least annually, the Tier 2 team assesses overall effectiveness and efficiency of strategies, including data decision rules to identify students, as well as range of interventions available, fidelity of implementation, and ongoing support to implementers. And evaluations are shared with staff and district leadership. Take a moment to read the corresponding scoring rubric for this feature. On the following slides, we will review a sample TFI recently completed by one Virginia Beach Middle School Tier 2 team. This will provide an in-depth understanding of the Tier 2 TFI evaluation process. During the spring, this middle school team used the Tier 2 TFI to evaluate their progress and documented notes along the way. They began with the teaming section, taking a look at 2.1 team composition. Take a moment to read the description and scoring rubric for this feature. In addition to the administrator and student support specialist, a role specific to secondary schools, the team noted that in March of that year, their Tier 2 team would also include a SPED teacher, school counselor, and behavior intervention specialist. They indicated a score of 1 since they plan to grow in this area with the addition of team members. Take a moment to review 2.2 team operating procedures and the associated rubric. After review of this feature description, the team indicated a score of 1, as they noted that they had not begun meeting monthly as a team until recently, but they established a plan which enabled those meetings to occur. Take a moment to read the description for 2.3, screening, as well as the scoring rubric for this feature. The team indicated a score of 2 since they identified that decision rules were established and were being used to identify students who might benefit from the check-in, check-out intervention, counseling groups, and the Choices program, which is a program that is specific to secondary schools. It was also noted within this feature that an administrator would bring a list of students who meet the decision rules to the next Tier 2 meeting. Take a moment to review 2.4, request for assistance, and the associated rubric. After a review of this feature, the team indicated a score of 1, as they noted that though they created a request for assistance form, they plan to create a Google version of this form and hyperlink it within their discipline flowchart. They also indicated that the School Planning Council would be adapting that Google form for use with families. More information on requests for assistance can be found within the 3rd module in this Tier 2 series. Take a moment to read the description for 2.5, options for Tier 2 interventions, as well as the scoring rubric for this feature. The team indicated a score of 1 since they identified that a resource map had been created identifying available Tier 2 supports. However, they noticed a need to track and document evidence of the effectiveness of these interventions matched to student need. Take a moment also to review 2.6, Tier 2 critical features and the associated rubric. After a review of this feature, the team indicated a score of 2, as they noted that the Tier 2 interventions being used included all 3 critical features: additional instruction or time for student skill development, additional structure and predictability, and an increased opportunity for feedback. Take a moment to read the description for 2.7, practices matched to student need, as well as the scoring rubric for this feature. The team indicated a score of 2 since they identified that modifications were made within the check and checkout intervention with individual goals established with student input. They also indicated that choices sessions were individualized based on identified areas of need, as well as input from the students being referred to choices. Take a moment to review 2.8, access to Tier 1 supports and the associated rubric. After a review of this feature, the team indicated a score of 2, as they noted that the check-in, check-out daily progress report was aligned to the school-wide expectations which were communicated to all students. They also noted that students still have access to receiving the school acknowledgement, which in this case were gotcha slips. And within the Choices program, student goals were also linked to the school-wide expectations. This feature specifically speaks to the degree to which our existing Tier 2 interventions align with the shared language we use throughout the school with all students to teach and reinforce expectations. Take a moment to review the description for 2.9, professional development, as well as the scoring rubric for this feature. Here, the team indicated a score of 2, since they noted that they shared with staff at the start of the school year the details involved in the check and check out process, as well as the Choices program and counseling groups. Take a second to review the description for 2.10, level of use, as well as the scoring rubric for this feature. The team indicated a score of 1 since they identified that they will begin to track the proportion of students receiving Tier 2 support at their next meeting. Take a moment to review 2.11, student performance data and the associated rubric. After a review of this feature, the team indicated a score of 1 as they noted that though they are not tracking the proportion of students who are experiencing success in Tier 2 interventions, informal discussions in this area are occurring. They also shared that they plan to use the agenda form to track student progress in Tier 2 interventions at their next team meeting. Take a moment now to review the description for 2.12, fidelity data, as well as the scoring rubric for this feature. Here, the team indicated a score of 2, since fidelity data had been collected each year and had been reviewed by the PBIS team, including the administrator and the PBIS coach. Take a moment to review 2.13, annual evaluation and the associated rubric. After a review of this feature, the team indicated a score of 1, as they noted that they plan to still share the fidelity of Tier 2 practices with staff and the admin team. PBIS division coaches also discussed with the team that all school TFI scores are shared with the PBIS division implementation team, as well as division leadership. At the end of every TFI document is an area to document the TFI implementation score and target areas for growth. This middle school team noted that their TFI score was a 73%. They were in their second year of Tier 2 implementation, so they had improved, but were still setting goals to reach the target of 80% fidelity. They had achieved quite a bit of growth and identified areas to improve. Note the 4 target TFI features around which they set action plans. A blank TFI document will also be provided as a resource within this module. In addition, within this module, we will provide an advanced tiers action planning document for use by teams just beginning Tier 2 implementation. The team action planning document helps teams to identify initial action steps and areas of priority when beginning Tier 2 implementation. Thank you for joining us in today's learning. We hope this module provided you with helpful information regarding Tier 2 fidelity data and annual evaluation of Tier 2 implementation.